G'day guys and gal. A lot of people think that the Eldar are a bunch of wussy, whiny little poo heads that just spit on everyone else and inhale their own farts. Well, those people are dumber than a drongo that just got donked by a didgeridoo, as the Eldar are incredibly badass, having multiple warrior paths depending on how they like to kill their enemies. The first path was the Dire Avengers, founded by the original Phoenix Lord and savior of the Eldar race, Asurmen. Asurmen and his warriors are legends amongst the Eldar. He wields one of the only swords that can perma-kill demons, whilst his followers are more or less the Ultramarines of the Eldar. Even the colours are similar. Before we get started, I'm happy to introduce the newest Major Mini, the Space Elf Avenger Lord. This absolute legend is a must-have for any Space Elf army. His gems, sword, pistol, flag, everything is handcrafted to perfection. I want you to look at me and listen to me for a second and read between the lines for this next statement that I'm about to say. The model comes with two head variants. I'm only going to show you one. The other one is a surprise for those that order him, but you'll be very, very pleased with the second currently mysterious head variant. You got it? Good. As a Space Elf slut myself, this is my favourite Major Mini model to date, and he's the next model I plan to paint. If you don't believe me, I literally just painted the Space Elf Fire Lord, Avenger Lord, as well as dozens of other Major Minis such as Kitten, Shark Daddy, Honourable Guardians, Son of Iron, King Orc, Ra, Space Elf Death Lord, Xenonids, and many, many more are available on the Major Mini website. Link is below. Easily the best way to support the channel whilst getting something of value for yourself. Today we'll go over the lore of Asurmen and the Dire Avengers, detailing their origins, their specializations, and some of their notable moments in the lore. Also, why does Asurmen have the yin and yang symbol on his chest? Let's get into it. After 60 million years of making TikToks, the Eldar Empire had really lost their warrior spirit. Machines fought their wars for them, and all concepts of struggle or manual labor was a long-lost myth. So when their empire fell at Slaaneish's birth due to all of them simultaneously watching Two Girls One Cup, they were pretty screwed. They lost all their core and crone worlds, hence lost all their spicy tech that did everything for them. Their population had been slashed by up to 99%, with the survivors either living in the webway, living on far-flung maiden worlds, or mostly on the craft worlds. Craft worlds were nice, but beyond basic Guardian militia and a few other bits and bobs, they weren't very well protected. But Asurmen's origins don't begin on a craft world, no. He was one of the Eldar who was living on a crone world within the Eldar Empire, and he was on this world when it got overrun with demons. Shit. Contrary to popular belief, Slaaneish's birth wasn't this shockwave that blew up all the Eldar crone worlds. It basically just turbocharged a huge area with chaotic corruption, causing a lot of warp storms, mutations, and made it super easy for demons to manifest. Hence every Eldar that died in the fall died horrifically, as they were literally raped to death by the demons of Slaanesh. This is why the fall is a bit of a touchy subject for the Eldar. Asurmen's real name was Iliathan, and he somehow survived the original demonic incursion with his brother. They hid from and fought against the demons. However, his brother was eventually possessed and Iliathan had to put him down. Eventually, he made his way to a temple of Asurien, which still held onto some power from the dead god, hence kept the demons at bay. He hid there for years and eventually encountered an Eldar child who also somehow survived. At first he was like, fuck that, I'm not a dad, but after some dark Eldar arrived and tried to assault her, his Pedro Pascal mode activated and he took her under his wing. They actually saved each other, as Iliathan was going to kill himself until he met her and she was going to get killed by the Dark Eldar. It was at this time he renamed himself Asurmen in honor of Asurien, as well as his rebirth from a sad little suicidal dude to a warrior and protector. They were able to make their way off-world, encounter a number of other survivors from the fall, such as Janzar, Baharoth, Fugin, and Arha. All of these guys and gals were super badass, as they too survived the initial demonic incursions. He took each of them as a disciple, and together they formed the first ever Aspect Shrine. Aspect Shrines being the path of the warrior that an Eldar can take to keep themselves protected from the influence of Slaanesh. Plus, it doesn't hurt that it also makes them badass warriors as well. By founding an Aspect Shrine, Asurmen had become the first Phoenix Lord, gaining a huge power buff as well as a type of immortality. I'll discuss this more a bit later. This first Aspect Shrine was the Dire Avengers, more or less an upgraded version of the Guardian Militia, which, makes sense. After all, you don't just create the shining spears or swooping hawks off the bat, you gotta start simple. The Dire Avengers were versatile warriors, excelling in mid-range combat. They were extremely accurate with a shoulder-mounted auto-target targeter, as well as a scoped Avengers Shuriken rifle. They weren't very good at melee combat though, since all they had were ceremonial knives not designed for battle. In saying that, a Dire Avenger Exarch, an Exarch basically being an elder who has maxed out a specific aspect warrior shrine, is a very capable swordsman and will often wield one in battle. Since they were the first shrine to be founded, on top of the fact that they are basically just a hard upgrade of a Guardian, aka doesn't require a niche type of warrior, the Dire Avengers are by far the most numerous of all aspect warriors. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. We got some more dank Asurmen lore for ya. After training all of the original Dire Avengers and making them into a bunch of badass Exarches, with his blessing, his Exarches then used his teachings combined with their own inspiration to create their own aspect shrines, hence became the Second Phoenix Lords. These other shrines included the Howling Banshees, founded by Janzar, the Fire Dragons, founded by Fugan, the Dark Reapers, founded by Margan Ra, and a number of others. Asurmen and his fellow Phoenix Lords traveled to various different craft worlds, sometimes together, sometimes separately. They founded aspect shrines on as many craft worlds as they could. Thus, each craft world gained the ability to create aspect warriors, the new elites of the Eldar armies. Without the aspect warriors and their Phoenix Lords, pretty much every craft world would have fallen by now, as time after time the Phoenix Lords are the ones to save the Eldar, especially in those early days when the Eldar were a bunch of pussies. The aspect warriors were extremely important in protecting them, whilst their society adapted to a new warlike galaxy. However, disaster would strike, as the extremely vicious and war-loving Phoenix Lord, Arhra of the Striking Scorpions, would be overcome with darkness, and lead the other Phoenix Lords into a trap where they were surrounded and then beaten by demons, with some fleeing but others, like Asurmen, being killed in battle. Arhra was a dick. However, they wouldn't be Phoenix Lords if they weren't able to have a fiery rebirth now, would they? Each Phoenix Lord has the ability to reincarnate via an Exarch of their respective aspect shrine donning their armor. Then the Phoenix Lord's Spirit Stone exerts its influence over the new Exarch, flooding them with the experience, memories, and even consciousness of the Phoenix Lord, more or less bringing them back to life. Now, it's not entirely clear how this works exactly or why only Phoenix Lords have this ability, but I have three potential theories. Theory 1 is that upon becoming a Phoenix Lord, the Eldar will be given an extremely powerful, indestructible Spirit Stone to house their mighty soul. With this advanced Spirit Stone, they are able to possess their Exarches, willing vessels who have committed to the Phoenix Lord's cause. I say indestructible Spirit Stones since Spirit Stones do often break in battle, yet no Phoenix Lord has ever broken theirs. Theory 2 is that the essence of Assyrian's godhood empowers the Phoenix Lords upon their ascension, thus giving them this ability, or third theory is that the will of a Phoenix Lord is so great that they are able to possess their Exarches. Either way, it fucking works. Thus, when Asurmen's armor was recovered, he was reborn. Phoenix Lords are often considered to be like an Eldar Primarch in terms of power, but why is this? Why are they so much more powerful than other Eldar? After all, a normal Howling Banshee has next to no chance against a Space Marine Terminator, but Janzar can cut through them like butter. The biggest part is the experience. Phoenix Lords have thousands of years of experience spread throughout their numerous lives. Their war gear is also extremely advanced, offering a lot higher protection as well as some nifty buffs. Asurmen's sword is called the Sword of Asur, very original, and actually houses the soul of his own brother that he slew. Its unique crafting as well as the influence of his brother's soul means the Sword of Asur is one of the few weapons in the galaxy that can permanently kill demons, just like the Emperor's Flaming Sword. Thus, Asurmen is terrifying to demons. See, demons usually treat all wars, battles, and conflicts like games. Their gods literally call it the Great Game after all, because when they die, they're simply banished to the warp where they reform and return. The stakes aren't that high for demons, but with Asurmen, the game can end forever, hence demons really don't like fighting him. When he was dueling a demon princess of Slaanesh, the demon was confused by him. She could sense his powerful essence in the warp, but couldn't detect him as a flesh and body Eldar in real space. Thus, Phoenix Lords are kind of like Eldar demons in a way. He then stabbed her through the face, permanently killing her. Asurmen also has a nifty personal ship called the Stormlance. The Stormlance is capable of going through the webway, thus allowing Asurmen to quickly travel to wherever he is needed. It also has an AI that is basically just a shard of Asurmen's soul, hence he could command it even when he wasn't in it. After his resurrection, Asurmen spent thousands of years traveling between craft worlds and war zones, saving Eldar and slaughtering his enemies. Sometimes he would fall in battle, especially against the greater demon of Slaanesh Inkari, his armor laying in the dust for decades, centuries, or even millennia before being recovered, and him being brought back. Phoenix Lords are not loyal to any one craft world as they didn't originate on craft worlds. Instead, they are loyal to the entire Eldar race, doing what needs to be done. Since most of his battles were deep in the webway or even the Eye of Terror, Asurmen doesn't often pop up in the lore too much, especially with how dog shit his official model looks, but the Dire Avengers have been left, right, and center. However, Aspect Shrines aren't like Space Marine chapters. When the Elder go to war, their armies will have multiple Aspect Warrior types, so it's rare for the lore to be like, and then the Dire Avengers came in and fucking turboed the demon. It's more so, the combined efforts of the Craftworld turbo-fucked the demon. Space Marine chapters are like sub-factions, however Aspect Warriors are like unit types. It would be like Primaris Assault Intercessors getting their own highlights, which doesn't really happen. All you really need to know is that these guys make up the elite core of an Elder Craftworld army. They are extremely accurate with a shitload of firepower. They also have dope-ass mohawks, which is all that really matters. Asurmen has spent the recent centuries fighting chaos in the eastern fringes, becoming a bit of a legend even with the non-Elder races. However, with the events of the Ynnari, he returned to the Elder and helped save Yvraine when she was ambushed by Asurmen and the Thousand Sons. After that incredibly chaotic battle, he was lost, presumably making his way back to the Elder the long route. All in all, a total badass, however hasn't really been giving the love he deserves in recent lore. Like his origins are dope and he has his own book, but after that it's like, yeah. Here's me naively hoping he will get the love and the lore that he deserves very soon. Now the question you've been waiting for. Why the fuck does the space elf from Warhammer 40k have the yin yang on his chest? Well, that's because GW is trying to gaslight into thinking it's their symbol so then they can cease and desist the entirety of China. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up the Space Elf Avenger Lord. Easily one of my favorites, I'm so keen to paint him up. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more avenging content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.